Hey there, friends. It is 10:35 on this Thursday morning, August 20th. If you do find this a little later on your timeline or just on the website or anything in general, just know that there's likely going to be new information. You can always go on brproud.com, tracking the tropics, and it should be on our front page and you should see it. Just click that for the latest information from the National Hurricane Center, because this is going to be an evolving process when it comes to these storms that we have. Currently one in the Caribbean and then one in the Atlantic. So we're going to start with local weather just to let folks get in and join in with us. We're seeing sunny skies right now, but later in the day we could see some thunderstorms that could be strong or even severe. So this is what could impact our area here in South Louisiana a little later. Our rain chance is around 40 to 50%. And there is a marginal risk for severe weather. I know a lot of folks are focused solely on the tropics right now and worrying and such, but I also want to point out that there is a risk for severe weather, not just here in South Louisiana, but that extends all the way into portions of Mississippi, Alabama, and into portions of the far southeastern areas. As for the timing, looks to be more so during the afternoon, early evening hours, and the main threat would be some damaging winds. Our rain chance is going to drop tomorrow and Saturday, but then start to increase into next week. And it's all dependent on what happens in the tropics ultimately. But either way, we're looking at some deep tropical moisture getting pulled in from the Gulf of Mexico, and that will likely lead to some heavy rain threats into a good portion of next week. Now, the Weather Prediction Center is showing just that, heavy rainfall totals over the next 7 days. I anticipate these numbers to start to go up and spread more inland over the next few days as we get into next week, because again, we are looking at the potential for two tropical systems to impact the United States next week. So we'll get started now. We have Tropical Depression 14 that just formed as of about an hour ago. The National Hurricane Center issued its first advisory at 10 a.m. And then in the Atlantic, just to the east of the Lesser Antilles, is Tropical Depression 13. Also, I want to point out that we have yet another system that it hasn't even really emerged off of Africa just yet, but we're going to keep monitoring this very carefully. It's a vigorous tropical wave that'll move into the eastern Atlantic in the coming days. That'll be one that we have to watch. Now, going forward, that wouldn't, if it were to impact the United States or just land in general, wouldn't be at least for another week. So we're going, or even two. So we're going to focus in on the ones that are closer to home, the ones that could impact the United States. First and foremost, Tropical Depression 14. As of right now, this is likely going to become a tropical storm later today. It's basically who is going to get the title Laura first. Tropical Storm Laura and then Tropical Storm Marco. We'll see which one gets what first, but either way, it doesn't matter the name. We're going to have our next name systems later tonight and then into tomorrow. Max sustained winds of 35 miles per hour, and it is moving to the west at 21 miles per hour. And it is just near the Honduras border, 235 miles east of the border as we speak. So it's going to continue its westerly trend and then eventually a northwest trend as we head into the next several days. This is the first track from the National Hurricane Center, and as the days go on, we get closer and closer to the weekend. This cone of uncertainty will likely shrink, but notice the size of it. And I want to take you through the timing. So I'll actually zoom in just so you can see a better view of it. So it's showing potentially moving into, again, the northwestern Caribbean over the weekend and potentially moving over the Yucatan Peninsula and then into the southern Gulf of Mexico on Saturday and into Sunday. If it doesn't lose any of its forward speed, it could be in the northern Gulf Coast states by Monday and into Tuesday. The current track brings it anywhere, and keep in mind with the cone of uncertainty, it basically shows where the center of the storm could go. So the center of the storm could go near the Mexico-Texas border or all the way here in South Louisiana, so that's where the center could go. As of right now, it brings the center to possibly around Houston, the Louisiana-Texas state line, sometime maybe Tuesday as a tropical storm. Again, this is their first advisory, so we're going to know more in the coming days, but this could, of course, impact the United States early next week. Regardless of development, going to bring heavy rain, most likely, to the northern Gulf Coast, as I mentioned before. Some of the spaghetti models, I always don't like showing these all too much because they update frequently, but they've been in a pretty a good agreement, needless to say, over the last few days, bringing, again, it into the southern Gulf of Mexico over the weekend and then potentially a track toward Texas or Louisiana sometime Tuesday and into Wednesday. And in fact, some of the models have it slowing down, which is a little concerning because if we have a slower moving storm, then that means the heavier rain threat will be there as well. And also keep in mind, I want to stress that impacts can and will be felt well away from the center, so that's going to also be something we're going to have to monitor. So don't just focus on the center of the cone, focus on the entire cone and remember that that's where the center may move. It could move to the west or east within that cone, and then impacts will be felt well from that. Also, of course, we have Tropical Depression 13, which either will become Tropical Storm Laura or Marco later today or tonight, still holding on to that tropical depression strength. It's 750 miles east of the northern Leeward Islands. So we have the Leeward Islands and then the Windward Islands. So it is forecast to potentially clip the Leeward Islands or just move near Puerto Rico, near Hispaniola, and then eventually toward the Virgin Islands and then toward the Bahamas to Cuba, South Florida. And I stopped it here because right after that it is forecast to intensify possibly into a hurricane, minimal hurricane, Cat 1 hurricane. And again, don't focus solely on the center of the cone. Keep in mind that it can move anywhere within this cone. That would be the center of the storm. So the center could move over Cuba. If it does that, then it would get disrupted a little bit. If it moves just over water and stays over water, then we could potentially have a stronger system in the Gulf of Mexico. You don't want to see it interact with any land, but the thing is, if it does, it might weaken it a good bit, and then it may not be as organized by the time it reaches the Gulf of Mexico. But as of right now, the cone of uncertainty includes the Gulf of Mexico, that would be Tuesday, and then all the way to northeastern Florida. So it could move generally in this northwest direction and possibly move near the eastern coast of Florida, or it could move like so and move closer to Texas. So that is, and Louisiana here as well. So that is why we are stressing all the way from Texas to Florida and of course the neighboring Gulf states. You need to focus on both of these systems. Don't sleep on one or the other because these both of these systems could impact the United States next week. And here's some of the models. The models are going to continue to go back and forth, a windshield wiper effect, if you will. When I got in this morning, we had scary looking models of the GFS moving closer to Louisiana, showing a major hurricane at landfall. Now it's moving more to the east, and I am expecting this to continue to happen in the coming days. But the timing is everything as well. That's also around Wednesday and into Thursday of next week. So basically, I'll keep it going for you. So basically, again, Texas to Florida need to monitor both. No imminent threats as of right now, but as we go into Friday, especially into the weekend, we'll know more. And we'll have a better idea of what's going to come here if it does develop, or if it's going to go to Texas or anything like that. But I also want to kind of talk about going back to, let me bring it back up. Here's the track. So a lot of it is going to be dependent on where the Bermuda High is located. And what I mean by that, we know we have the steering winds of the Bermuda High in the Atlantic. If we have a weaker high pressure and that would mean more of a turn to the north and staying more to the east, and so that would put Louisiana more so on the drier side of the storm. If we have a stronger Bermuda high, it may move more to the west. So again, this cone of uncertainty is taking into account both whether it's a strong Bermuda high or a weaker Bermuda high. So something we'll have to watch. Again, if it's stronger, it may move more to the west, and we may be dealing with a hurricane here in South Louisiana. Again, there are a lot of uncertainties, but now would be the time to prepare, not to be scared. Don't worry about anything. We'll let you guys know if we are going to have any imminent threats here, when we'll have threats, if we will at all. But if you have vacations planned to the beaches and such, pay attention to this as well. Even if you live in, say, the Carolinas and you're going down to Florida, pay attention, because this could curve up and impact eastern portions of the United States after this is all said and done. So again, the next names on the list, Laura and Marco, and then we're looking at Nana, and then Omar and Paulette. So hopefully we don't get that far, but we aren't even at the peak of hurricane season yet. The peak officially begins today, August 20th, and we don't reach that climatological peak until September 10th, and then it lasts pretty much till October 10th. That is usually between now and around October 10th. In history, those are the days where we've had the most activity, the strongest systems as well. So even after we get past September 10th, we still have ways to go. November 30th is the end of hurricane season. So again, our rain chances will likely go up next week regardless, because we will have all that tropical moisture in place, whether the systems stay far away from us or if they move close to us. Our rain chances will likely go up, which will keep our temperatures down. So we're keeping very, very close tabs on what's going on. But now, again, would be the time, while things are pretty quiet, to brush up on your hurricane safety plans. Let me bring this back up just so you guys can see, and y'all have something else to look at besides the 7-day. Brush up on those hurricane safety plans for you, your family, and your pets, of course. Make sure if maybe you use some stuff in your hurricane kit from Cristobal or any other severe storms that we've had, just go and replenish those items. Because if we don't see impacts from Tropical Depression 14 or 13, there may be more down the road. In fact, some of the models are showing the next 4 to 6 weeks may be extremely active in the Atlantic Basin. And keep in mind, all it takes is one. So, all right, we're going to wrap things up. We will have more updates for you guys on air on NBC Local 33 and then on Fox 44 as well as brproud.com. And now, again, would be a good time to download the free BR Proud app. You'll get push notifications. If we have any weather alerts, you'll get those sent right to your phone, and to allow you to look at the radar, see what's going on. You can track the tropics with us. There's a whole page for that. And if you miss anything that I said, maybe you're watching this later, again, keep in mind that the information that I'm talking about will likely be outdated. We'll have another update from the National Hurricane Center around 1 o'clock. They don't update the tracks, but say the hurricane hunters find that the tropical storm force winds are there and it intensified into Laura or Marco, then they will issue a new advisory on that. So the next track will come out at 4 o'clock, and Chief Meteorologist Jesse Gunkel will update you guys with the latest from the National Hurricane Center, and be able, as the days progress, the confidence will grow, and we'll be able to fine-tune the forecast and keep you guys posted every step along the way. So again, brproud.com and the free BR Proud app. I hope everyone takes care, and be sure to stay up to date with us on air and online. Bye.